Last year, I was absolutely shocked and amazed by a phone that sat on top of Android, came out of nowhere as far as I was concerned, and just captured my heart. The OnePlus 7 Pro. This thing was my favorite Android phone of 2019. I've said this, and I know people didn't believe me. Even after the Note 10 came out, I was still a lover of this phone. As you can see, I still have this, and I don't have my Note anymore. Still my favorite Android phone. But the question is, should you still rock this phone in 2020? Is this a phone that's going to get you through the first year of the new decade? Well, I'm going to tell you all about it right after this.
This is, you listening to Travis.
What up, players? Welcome back. And for all you new people, welcome. My name's Travis and I do tech videos every single week and have a blast doing it. If that sounds like fun to you, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Anything I talk about will be in the description below. But for now, let's just get into the video. Now, let me just start off by saying I understand there's a OnePlus 7T. I know that. I get it. There's a OnePlus 7T Pro and all that stuff. But the differences between that and this are really kind of minor. So if you want to take the same feedback that I have about this phone onto that phone, they're kind of the same. The one big difference being the back where the camera is, what it looks like. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. The processor is only slightly faster on the T version. Not enough to make a whole different video. I'm going to talk about the 7 Pro because I've actually had hands-on with this thing for however many months it's been out. And I believe that my feedback absolutely goes to the 7T as well. And you know, I haven't really been that interested in any OnePlus phones until last year. They came out with a 90 hertz screen, which was kind of the first in the industry, at least where you could get one here in America easily. And you know, I went out and bought one and I was like, it's kind of cool, it's not bad. And then I returned it. That's right, I returned it. I returned it because people were having problems with their phone and I was worried that mine was going to break. But after a couple of weeks went by, I missed it. I missed it really bad. I had a Galaxy Note 9 at the time and you know, the Galaxy Note 9 was amazing and great, but I just kept going back to the smoothness and quickness of the OnePlus 7 Pro in my mind. So I went back and bought it again. I have both those videos where I talked about that on my channel. Maybe I'll leave them somewhere linked around here so you can understand exactly what I was going through. And you might go, well, why did you like the OnePlus 7 Pro so much? Why was it your favorite over top of the Note series? The one phone you've had ever since the Note 2. That's right, I had the Note 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, well, there was no 6. And the 7, well, we know what happened there. So this phone came out after the Galaxy Note 9. And yeah, you know, for me, I knew that it was one that I wanted above and beyond the Note 10, even before the Note 10 came out. That's right. Even when the Note 10 came out, I knew I was going to go back to this one. And I think it really comes down to speed. Now, while all the phones that have been out over the last couple of years have been fast, and the 855 was across all the flagships of last year, the operating system, Oxygen OS, on OnePlus phones is snappy as heck. It is super fast. And even when I had the Note and turned down the animations, which by the way, I shouldn't have to do, I mean, it was kind of fast, but it never felt as fast or as smooth. And that's where the 90 hertz display came in. So with the Galaxy Note series or Galaxy even S series, you can turn off animations to make it snappier. But without those extra animation frames, for example, 90 frames per second versus the 60 on the Galaxy Note or Galaxy series, it just felt kind of choppy. And there's something really intoxicating about how smooth and fast this device is. Most importantly, apps open fast. The fingerprint sensor opened fast. Everything I did on this thing opened fast, and it became a joy to use. So I've talked about this a couple of times over the last couple of months. It's not just every little bit that made this a successful phone, in my opinion, it's all of them together. The experience when you add all of these together was excellent. Oxygen OS, super fast with some great options. The 90 hertz display, awesome. Smooth as butter, great. But if the operating system wasn't optimized in the way that it is, then the 90 hertz wouldn't make a difference. It would make no difference at all. But when you add them together, the experience becomes intoxicating. Now, sure, you're giving up some really important things from the Samsung side of things, like Samsung Pay, the best mobile payment out there, period. Samsung Pay owns all. And on the Note side of things, you're giving up the S Pen, which is pretty cool. But I will have to say that over the last several years, I didn't really use the S Pen nearly as much as I thought I would. So I didn't really miss that at all. So the optimization of the operating system, the way everything works, the way everything about this phone works, I liked. Like just even going up, sliding up from the bottom to go through your apps just made sense. I don't know, everything about it made sense. The one thing this thing always caught flack for was the cameras. And you know what? They're not as bad as we thought. Are they as good as a Galaxy Note phone or an iPhone 11 Pro Max? Of course not. But this phone never cost $1,000. At no point was this phone $1,000. So you have to give them a little bit of slack for that. In addition, if you sideloaded Gcam, that made the camera array actually more than good, more than a $700 phone. Like, it really made a big difference. So it was never about the hardware on the cameras, it was actually more about the software, and you could kind of get around that. But even so, I think people gave this phone a lot of flack for its cameras. But here's the thing. When I did a blind test a while back on both my YouTube channel community page and on Twitter, and just said, hey, there's a picture here, what do you think? Does it look good? People said it looked good. When you take away the bias of knowing that it's a OnePlus 7 Pro, and you look at the actual images and even the video quality, there's really nothing wrong with it. It's not as good as the top-end phones, but you're not paying top-end phone money. So the reality is you can be posting these pictures and videos on social media all day long, and most people won't have a problem with it. Again, I posted these pictures on social media, and it was overwhelmingly positive. People were actually surprised at how good it looked. I just didn't tell them it was a OnePlus 7 Pro, because if you tell them that, then they're gonna pick out all the problems with it. And the battery life on this thing has always been great, always through a day. I could get into the beginning of the next day, depending on how much I used it. I mean, I don't think I could ever get through 2 days, but this thing always lasts me through a day pretty easily with a little bit to spare. And this thing is updated. It's all the way up to Android 10. So the updates come fast and furious from OnePlus. Now, of course, with Android, you always have to worry about your carrier, in this case, T-Mobile. How often were they getting their updates out? Eventually they did. But OnePlus was kicking the updates out pretty quickly. And that's super important when it comes to security updates, especially on the Android side of things. If for no other reason, there's people always throwing out these really bogus apps and APKs that can completely hack your phone. So you need to have the security updates. Super important. OnePlus has done a great job here. So for me, if you still have the OnePlus 7 Pro, I think you're fine. I don't see why you'd want to spend $400 or $500 extra above and beyond something like this today. The OnePlus 7T, you could say maybe you purchase that over this if it's a $100 difference, depending on where you purchase it from. But I think this phone is excellent in 2020. The question is, what about for the rest of 2020 with the other flagships coming out? Now, of course, the picture quality of this thing is not going to match up to any of the phones that come out this year. And OnePlus will be coming out with a new version of this phone. But for me, the only thing that's going to do is make this an even better value, this and the 7T. Both of these phones will drop price even more if you can still find the Pro, probably down into the $400 range. And at that point, my goodness, this is an incredible phone for that price. So yes, if you have a OnePlus 7 Pro, OnePlus 7T, or whatever the case may be, you are doing really good. Don't worry about upgrading. Sure, they're gonna have all these great features on these other phones, but you have a really darn good phone that still, to this day, despite all the phones I've messed around with, is my favorite Android phone right now. Will the S20 or the Note 20, whatever they're gonna call it, change that later this year? I mean, maybe, but again, you're spending so much more. By the time you get out of the store with one of these, you probably haven't spent much more than $600 or $700, depending on where you purchase it from. And to spend another $400 or $500 for a couple of features on a phone that isn't terribly better than this, I can't co-sign that. But what do you think? Do you have a OnePlus 7 Pro or OnePlus 7T? Leave me a comment below. Let me know. Do you like it? Do you love it? Or are you going to upgrade to something else that's coming out? If you are going to upgrade, which phone are you going to upgrade to? One of the Samsung phones? Maybe the new OnePlus, new iPhone? What are you going to upgrade to? Let me know in the comments below. If this video helped you out in any way, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And if it didn't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. I'm here every single week having a blast. Hope to see you again real soon. Peace and love. Peace and love. God, I love that.